Hello my friends, so I greet all of you starseeds, light workers and wanderers. We're almost right now 100,000 starseeds and light workers who are changing the planet at this time. And in this session I have channeled the Pleiadians in order to ask about the queries which were raised on the YouTube channel poll. The first question is related with, is the law of attraction which is taught to us accurate or not? And turns out that the real law of attraction secrets were actually hidden by the elites, the people in power. And it turns out from this session that the people in power, they were using the secrets of the law of attraction. Okay, they were using it. However, we were taught this this version which was incomplete. So in this session you'll find out how to actually do it. Okay, so this is the complete understanding of the law of attraction. If you want to create a reality, if you want to create something, or if you want to control the outside world, this is the video that you will need to watch, and you will understand from the channeling session what actually is the real hidden secrets and how can we apply it. Furthermore, the Pleiadians also give an example of this method, the methods and the secrets of law of attraction which were used during the Atlantean times to build the pyramids. So you will understand how the pyramids were built in the Atlantean times, and also you'll understand with an example how it can be applied in your own life. And the second query is related with the soul evolution cycle and soul identity and the past life of Sadhguru. So many of you wanted to find out his intentions and what is his hidden truth. So in today's session you'll find out what is his hidden truth, and you'll also understand that Sadhguru has got some lessons to learn as well. And you'll understand also about his origins, so where he came from. I found that really interesting to listen to, and I learned a lot from the session. And also I want to say a big thank you to all of you for getting the paperback version of my channeling sessions, which is around 500 pages. So if you want to read it in a book format, okay, if you want to hold it in a book format and read it, then you can get it. The link is on the description. And I thank all of you for also leaving reviews, wonderful reviews over there. And with that being said, I also want to say thank you to all of you for liking this video, because it helps to reach out to other starseeds and wanderers just like us who may need this information. And enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Pleiadians, and we greet you now in love and light of the One Creator, who has allowed this communication at this time, space to occur in this space-time. Consider, we are here to offer our conscious presence that may appear as thought forms through this instrument's inner perception when it is connected to us. Through its inner heart, we, however, have to warn each to use inner discernment and only listen to those thoughts that provide a deeper sense of inner understanding of the requirements that will enable each mind, body, and spirit complex to enter the domain of greater understanding, to allow such mind, body, spirit complexes to enter the new earth vibration timeline. We shall now address the first query that is in the mind complex of this instrument, which relates with the understanding of is the law of attraction as taught to the human collective consciousness, correct or not? In this regard, we will share our thoughts that the so-called law of attraction systems and methods are correct. However, their application to the fulfillment of a certain objective or a desired result require a type of sequence that needs to be adopted, which will enable each mind, body, and spirit complex to understand how to use them in the gaining of knowledge, to allow each to learn about the application of the self as the co-creator in the universal complex, which is ever present all around us. This sequence of application is kept a secret by many of the so-called elites of your planetary sphere, for they feel that knowledge of this aspect could give powers to the so-called common human beings in order to manipulate reality by understanding these laws of the universal complex. The sequence to be applied during creation of any timeline or desired result will depend upon three basic factors in your planetary illusion complex. The first method that is to be applied prior to any other is to connect with intelligent infinity through the mastery of the so-called present moment or the now moment, wherein there is ever-present silence and it permeates through each moment. Even though many mind-body-spirit complexes fail to realize that the present moment awareness is the only type of awareness that is required to fulfill the connection with the divine, one infinite creator, there has to be an understanding of how to enter this connection with the focus of attention on the inner lights of consciousness or presence of the one creator that exists prior to any thought forms and prior to any images or sounds in the mind complex. This presence is different than the observer that people refer to in your planet. It is not so much that you need to observe than to keep attention on the presence of the light of consciousness for as long as possible. Eventually, you will let go of all thoughts and will be ever linked with this inner presence. That is the Creator's presence, which is all around and in everything, and is the one infinite Creator's presence within you and within all. Without this first step, there cannot be any creation, because the source of all creations is the one infinite creator. This step is the hardest and the most missed on your planetary sphere, because being on the Earth planets do not understand the importance of intelligent infinity and its creative powers. Once this aspect is mastered, then the second step can be applied by your people. That is through the use of creating a positive karmic imbalance in the universal ecosystem in which you find yourself in. This positive karmic imbalance can be created by firstly identifying the object or the desired result that is to be manifested. For example, if an entity were desirous of multiplying the object of the so-called money as known by your people, this step involves the use of the available money and sharing it with others, which may be counterintuitive to that which is practiced in your culture. A limit of around 10% to 20% is recommended to be distributed to others. Mind-body-spirit complexes, and this will result in the creation of a positive karmic imbalance in the universal ecosystem in which you find yourself in. Now, this karmic imbalance has to balance itself one way or other, because the universal law dictates that the law of balance, and nothing can remain in balanced form a long period of time-space. The final process or step that is to be applied for proper fulfillment of this method is then to feel the emotions of already having the desired result. For example, in continuation to the example presented above, if an entity were then to visualize or give thanks for the abundance it seeks, then the universal complex moves forward and gives it the required situations and events that will ultimately lead the entity to obtain the desired results, which in this case would be an abundance of the object as known by your people as money. Furthermore, these three steps must be performed in sequence for the law of attraction to work effectively in your planetary sphere. Many a times, mind-body-spirit complexes on your planet do not apply these methods in sequence, hence not obtaining the results, and at other times, accidentally applying this universal law of attraction to manifest the desired results. In addition, for the better understanding of this aspect, we shall now share a real understanding which happened during the Atlantean times, when there was the presence of Atlanteans and interconnection with many higher density beings such as the Syrians. The Atlantean priests were approached by the Syrians with a message to guide the Atlanteans on how to heal their bodily complex and increase their life cycle by using the process of channeling energies through the pyramidical systems. Furthermore, the methods taught were how to use the vibration of inner silence and interconnection with the one infinite creator, and then use the process of serving others by helping them in whatever way it was possible at that time space, especially by helping them survive and giving them full products for the Atlantean bodily complexes. This created a positive karmic imbalance that could then be used by the Atlantean priests to use imagination complex and create and give thanks for the pyramids being built. This allowed the infinite energies to create such pyramids within a span of 1 year in their space-time continuum terms. Furthermore, we are now going to share the answers to the query related with the soul evolution cycle and the truth of an entity known as by your people in their language sequence terms as Sadhguru, whose incarnation began in the year of 1957 in your space-time incarnation, and for the purpose of clarity we shall only share one of its timeline incarnations, in order to allow the mind complex of your people to fully understand how the timeline of a single linear nature operates. Furthermore, the entity known as Sadhguru was found prior to this incarnation in the location known as Arcturus A in the Arcturian star system. wherein it learned the lessons of stabilizing in the vibration of love lights of the fourth density consciousness. However, it had to spend around 2 iterations of the same type of incarnation initiation to learn lessons about love and light of the fourth density consciousness. This eventually allowed it to graduate into the fourth density consciousness. And then it decided to incarnate on the Earth planet at this timeline as a wanderer. However, it in this current incarnation and the present, using its free will, is confused due to the distortion of so-called money, having an influence on its teachings, which is being controlled by other entities belonging to the Earth planet who have negative intentions and vibrations in order to control humanity prior to the incarnation on the location of Arcturus A. It was found in the planet Earth, wherein it was known in the sound vibratory sound complex terms as Francis, in the time-space of around 1798, in the lands known as by your people as France. In this incarnation, it learned the lessons of serving others using its own free will. It was given a situation wherein it had incarnated into a family of abundance and ownership of large areas of land holding. This furthermore was also a test in its incarnation wherein it had to choose either serve the self or serve others. Therefore, it chose the path to serve others by providing them with lands to live in and pursue their livelihood. This incarnation provided it to be eligible for graduating into the fourth density consciousness, and prior to this incarnation it was found in the lands as known by your people as Arabia, wherein it had incarnated at a time period of around 1604. Wherein it was known as, in the language terms as Isa. As a woman bodily complex, it has the main lesson to learn, that of learning how to overcome the distortion of jealousy and to learn how to communicate properly with other human entities. The beginning stages of the life cycle were difficult in this timeline because it couldn't communicate openly with other humans due to fear of rejection. However, later on, after learning lessons of music, it was able to find the courage to do so, which allowed it to communicate with others using language patterns of the Earth planet at the time. This enabled it to learn the lessons of understanding human communication systems in this time. Prior to this incarnation, it was found in the lands of inner earth planes, or as known by a people as Agartha, wherein it spent its time in the middle stages of third density around a time period from 4,200 to 3,700 years ago. In this timeline, learning lessons of self-awareness. Prior to this timeline, it was also found in the lands of Egypt and Chem. Time period around 11,800 years ago, wherein it participated in the initiations that were taught by the Atlanteans at that time to enable much of the lessons of healing and self-love to be learned by all those who needed to learn such lessons. This incarnation in this period lasted for a time of around 400 years. Prior to that, it was found in the new civilization, social structure, and learned lessons of beginning stages of third density consciousness in order to master the lessons of being self-aware. It spent a total of 28 incarnations in this timeline. Prior to this, it was found in the second density form as the so-called dinosaurs, wherein it learned the lessons of beingness and awareness. Without self-awareness at the time periods of approximately 128 million years ago on the Earth planet. Furthermore, the first density lessons were also learned in the Earth planet itself at a time period of around 627 million years ago as elementals, and was given the soul name of Ryer, which meant the unchanging form at that space-time. Hence we, the Pleiadians, now leave you in love lights of the One Creator. Bye.
So my friends, basically in this session, I hope you have learned certain things which were explained by the Pleiadians. So the first thing which I found really interesting in this session is that the Pleiadians, they said that the law of attraction is incomplete and there are certain secret sequence of patterns or sequence of methods which have not been taught to humanity. Okay, they may have been taught in haphazard manner. So I believe, when you want to create reality, when you want to manipulate the world, or when you want to change your life, you need to understand how to apply it in a sequence, because if you don't apply it in a sequence, it will not work. Just like if you're opening up a door, right, you need a key to open the door, and there is a certain sequence you need to follow, right? Either the key opens up this way, or either it opens up this way. So if you do it any other way, it will not open. So I believe, in order to allow this law, so they said that this is a universal law, okay, of the law of attraction, which all of us can apply in our life. Basically, it boils down to 3 steps, which I have written down from the session. And the first one is to connect with intelligent infinity. Now, connecting with intelligent infinity requires you to master the present moment awareness. So how can you master the present moment awareness? Is by focusing on your inner presence, your inner consciousness, just being consciously aware of this inner sensation or the presence that is within you. And by doing this, you will become aware of yourself. You'll become self-aware, and that will allow you to connect with the present moment. And this present moment is also the connection bridge with intelligent infinity. So when you connect with intelligent infinity, what happens is that this connection with intelligent infinity will strengthen this connection with the one infinite creator. So basically, you will be connected with the creator's presence, and it will allow you to then create whatever you want. Because what the Pleiadians said is that everything is made of this essence, made of this presence of the one creator. Everything is made of this, right? So we need to firstly empty ourselves completely, enter the present moment, and connect with the creator's presence, and then you can go about creating what you want. So that's the first step. The second one is to actually create a karmic positive imbalance. So how that can be done is basically by doing something good. In the example they have given, like for example, if someone wants to create money, right? So what the Pleiadians said is actually giving a certain portion of it to charity or donating it. And what that does is it creates a karmic imbalance of a positive nature. So because the universe operates on balance, it has to balance itself out, right? So let's say someone did something positive, and the person helps someone. So there is this karmic positive karmic imbalance in that person. So the universe, in order to balance that, will have to do something good to the person as well in return. That's what I understand. And this is the second step, which I believe many people don't do it. They just apply their mind. They forget to do good to others. I mean, they forget not forget, maybe they were not taught, right? And this method is also being applied by, like the rich people, the billionaires. If you go and search about them, you'll find out that they are doing a lot of charity. They are doing charity, and they're trying to like use this law. But the common people, we were not taught that we need to do this in order for the law of attraction to work, right? And then the final stage is the imagination and giving thanks. The most important is to feel the emotions, because as you all know that ultimately it is the emotional state which creates the reality. That's our objective. Now you can use imagination, you can use affirmation, you can give thanks, you can use any methods, but the ultimate objective is to feel the emotion. Okay, if you can feel that emotion continuously, if your body becomes accustomed with the emotion of you already having that desire, then you will ultimately change reality. It will happen. Okay, and I believe this is the proper sequence which humanity was not taught. Maybe the elites, they did not want us to know about this, but from today you now know. The final thing they talked about is about Sadhguru. One of the things that I found fascinating was that he's also a wanderer. So he's here on a mission to share love and light. But unfortunately, it is said in the session that because of the distortion of money, right, he is becoming confused. So I believe, maybe he has taken some money from some elites, and they are trying to control him to spread negative agenda about certain things. And that's what I learned from the session. The other thing I found fascinating was that he was a dinosaur in the second density, and his his origins began on Earth. So he's a Earth-based soul. He's an Earth-based wanderer, which is fascinating, right? So I thank you all of you for watching the video. And if you want to find out about your soul name, your soul identity, about your past lives, you can email me on my email. I will help you out. And the other thing is, I want to say thank you to all of you for joining on my Patreon, where I share certain sessions which are not allowed to be shared on YouTube, as well as I upload 3 channeling sessions a week. So if you want to go in deep, if you want to listen to more channeling sessions, to learn the lessons of love and light faster, then I hope Patreon will help you out. The link is on the description. And the other thing is, thank you to all of you for also getting the paperback version of the book of channeling sessions, which may help those who are interested. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next session. Until then, I hope you'll enjoy this video over here. Thank you, my friends.